This is how you heal when you feel completely alone. Carl Jung philosophy. The labyrinth of solitude. A Jungian path to healing when you feel utterly alone. Greetings. My name is your name, and for a moment, I invite you to journey with me into one of the most profound human experiences. The feeling of utter solitude. In an age often defined by unprecedented connection, the paradox of pervasive loneliness persists. We find ourselves at times navigating a labyrinth of isolation, whether imposed by external circumstances or an inner landscape. It's in these moments that the wisdom of thinkers like Carl Jung offers not just solace but a map for transformation. Jung, the pioneering Swiss psychiatrist, understood the human psyche not as a static entity, but a dynamic, evolving system. He recognized that our journey inward is often triggered by crisis, by moments when the external world fails to provide the meaning or connection we crave. Feeling completely alone can be such a crucible, a challenging yet potentially transformative period. This is not merely about coping, it's about healing, about integrating the fragmented parts of ourselves and emerging with a deeper sense of wholeness. It's about turning the lead of isolation into the gold of individuation. Today, we'll explore practical pathways, illuminated by Jungian principles, to navigate and ultimately heal from the sting of profound loneliness. These aren't quick fixes, but rather a guide to cultivating resilience, discovering inner resources, and forging a more authentic connection with both yourself and the world around you. Let's begin by understanding the foundational pillars that support our psychological well-being, especially when the ground beneath us feels uncertain. The sacred container, structuring your inner and outer world. Jung emphasized the importance of order, of creating a temenos, a sacred precinct for the soul's work. When we feel alone, especially when external structures crumble, our inner world can descend into chaos. This is where the discipline of structure becomes not a rigid cage, but a vital container for our healing. Think of it this way. A wild, untamed garden, while beautiful, can become overgrown and difficult to navigate. A structured garden, with defined paths and cultivated beds, allows for growth, beauty, and ease of movement. Similarly, establishing a predictable rhythm in your daily life, even in isolation, provides an essential scaffold for your psyche. Jung himself, when experiencing periods of intense inner exploration, meticulously structured his days. He would rise at a set time, engage in specific activities, and create rituals that anchored him. This isn't about rigid adherence to an arbitrary schedule, but about consciously creating a framework that fosters a sense of safety and predictability. When the world feels unpredictable, you become the architect of your internal stability. Practically, what does this look like? It begins with the simple act of waking up at a consistent time. This regulates your circadian rhythms, which are deeply intertwined with your mood and energy levels. Resist the urge to let days blend into an amorphous blob of time. Follow this with a morning ritual, perhaps a moment of quiet reflection, a short meditation, or a warm cup of tea enjoyed without distraction. This signals to your mind and body that the day has begun with intention. Schedule your meals at regular times. Food is nourishment, and the act of preparing and consuming it can become a grounding ritual. Plan specific times for work or creative pursuits, for physical activity, and crucially, for periods of rest and solitude. Even if you're alone, distinguish between purposeful solitude, moments of introspection and self-connection, and passive isolation. The difference is profound. Consider Jung's concept of the collective unconscious. While we often think of it in terms of universal symbols and archetypes, it also speaks to a shared human need for order and meaning. When we impose structure on our individual lives, we are, in a subtle way, connecting to this deeper archetypal need for form amidst formlessness. It's an act of self-care that echoes through the ancestral psyche. The goal here is not perfection, but consistency. If you miss a scheduled activity, don't let it derail your entire day. Simply acknowledge it and return to your structure with the next planned event. This gentle discipline builds psychological muscle, helping you to feel more in control even when external circumstances remain beyond your grasp. It creates a sacred container within which your healing can unfold. The web of relatedness, connecting consciously. As human beings, we are fundamentally relational. Jung spoke extensively about the ego's development through interaction with others and how our shadow aspects often emerge in relationship. While physical isolation might be a reality, psychological connection remains a profound necessity. Feeling completely alone is often exacerbated by a perceived lack of meaningful connection. This pillar is about consciously weaving your web of relatedness, even if it feels thin at first. The brutal reality of solitary confinement highlights our inherent need for social interaction. It is a punishment precisely because it severs the lifeline of human connection. But in our modern world, physical distance does not have to equate to absolute isolation. We are fortunate to live in an era of unprecedented digital tools, video calls, messaging, social media platforms, which, when used intentionally, can bridge vast distances. Jung's ideas on the self and its integration often involve confronting our projections onto others and understanding how we relate to the world. When we are isolated, this mirror is often absent, and we can become lost in our own internal echo chamber. Reaching out, even virtually, provides that essential reflection, helping us to stay grounded in shared reality. How do we do this consciously? Start by identifying your inner circle, the people who truly see you, know you, and with whom you can be authentic. Make it a point to connect with them regularly. This isn't just about superficial check-ins, it's about genuine conversation. Share your thoughts, your feelings, your struggles, and your triumphs. Listen actively to theirs. This reciprocal exchange is the lifeblood of connection. Consider Jung's concept of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that often hint at deeper unseen connections. While we can't force synchronicity, we can create the conditions for it to arise by being open, present, and engaged. Perhaps a long-lost friend pops into your mind. Reach out. That seemingly random thought might be a nudge from the collective unconscious, urging you towards a connection that serves your healing. Don't limit yourself to just your current connections. Think of people from your past, old classmates, former colleagues, acquaintances from hobbies or travel. Reconnecting with these nodes in your personal history can be incredibly enriching. It reminds you of the breadth of your experiences and the many people who have touched your life. A simple message, "I was just thinking of you, hope you're doing well," can open a door to renewed connection. Beyond individual connections, seek out communities. Online groups dedicated to shared interests, virtual workshops, or even structured online social gatherings can provide a sense of belonging. The key is active engagement, not just passively consuming content, but participating, contributing, and sharing. This moves you from observer to participant in the grand human drama. If you have a history of trauma, forming new connections can feel daunting. The ego, having been hurt, often creates defenses. Be gentle with yourself. Start small. Acknowledge the fear, but don't let it paralyze you. Remember, even a single, genuine connection can act as a powerful anchor in a sea of loneliness. The web of relatedness is not about quantity, but about the quality and authenticity of each thread. The embodied soul, movement, rhythm, and creative expression. Jung understood that the psyche is not solely a product of the mind. It is deeply intertwined with the body. Our physical state profoundly impacts our mental and emotional well-being. When we feel trapped or alone, our bodies can become repositories of unexpressed emotion, leading to a sense of stagnation. This pillar is about liberating that energy through movement, embracing natural rhythms, and channeling inner impulses into creative expression. Trauma, as Bessel van der Kolk so eloquently describes, is often stored in the body, manifesting as a sense of immobilization or dissociation. To heal, we must reclaim our bodies as instruments of agency and sensation. Jung believed in the wisdom of the body, seeing it as a direct link to the unconscious. Engaging in physical activity is not just about health, it's about reconnecting with this primal wisdom. Movement is medicine. If you are able, go for a walk, a run, a bike ride. Feel the sensation of your feet on the ground, the wind on your skin, the rhythm of your breath. If outdoor access is limited, find ways to move indoors. Dance to your favorite music, uninhibited just for the joy of it. Practice yoga, tai chi, or qigong. There are countless free resources online that can guide you. The goal is to move your body in a way that feels good, that allows you to release tension and feel alive. Jung was fascinated by the power of symbols and archetypes that emerge from the unconscious. Often these emerge not through intellectual analysis, but through spontaneous, embodied experiences. When you move your body, you are creating a dialogue between your conscious mind and your deeper self. You are allowing dormant energies to awaken and express themselves. Beyond general movement, let's explore rhythm. Jung understood the deep human need for ritual and rhythm, connecting us to the natural world and the collective unconscious. Think of ancient tribal dances, communal singing, or the consistent tolling of a monastery bell. These rhythms ground us. When you are alone, create your own rhythms. This could be as simple as listening to rhythmic music, engaging in drumming, or even singing to yourself. If you play an instrument, now is the time to immerse yourself in it. If not, perhaps explore learning one. The act of creating music, of engaging with sound and rhythm, is profoundly therapeutic. It bypasses the rational mind and speaks directly to the soul, allowing for a non-verbal expression of feeling. And finally, creative expression. Jung believed that the psyche constantly seeks to express itself, often through dreams, fantasies, and creative impulses. When we are isolated, these inner voices can become particularly loud. Instead of letting them overwhelm you, give them an outlet. This isn't about producing masterpieces, it's about the act of creation itself. What are your latent talents? Do you enjoy writing? Paint, draw, sculpt, knit, cook, garden? Engage in any activity that allows you to bring something new into being. When you cook, don't just follow a recipe. Infuse it with your intention and creativity. When you garden, connect with the earth and the life cycles. When you write, let your unconscious speak through your words. This act of making is a powerful antidote to the feeling of powerlessness that often accompanies isolation. Jung's concept of active imagination is particularly relevant here. It's a technique for consciously engaging with the figures and symbols that emerge from the unconscious, often through creative means. By giving form to your inner world, whether through drawing a dream image, writing a dialogue with an inner figure, or simply moving your body in response to an emotion, you are actively participating in your own healing process. You are transforming passive experience into active engagement, moving from being acted upon to becoming the actor in your own inner drama. In moments of profound solitude, the embodied soul finds its voice. Through movement, rhythm, and creative expression, you reconnect with your vitality, your intrinsic power, and the boundless wellspring of your inner world. You become not just a passive observer of your loneliness, but an active participant in its transformation. The alchemical kitchen, cultivating competence and nurturing the self. Jung often used alchemical metaphors to describe the process of psychological transformation, seeing the psyche as a vessel where raw, undifferentiated experiences are transmuted into something more refined and whole. This pillar, cultivating competence and nurturing the self, is akin to engaging in this inner alchemy, especially when you feel utterly alone. It's about finding agency, mastery, and a deep connection to your own intrinsic worth. When we are isolated, feelings of helplessness and inadequacy can creep in. Our usual avenues for external validation might be diminished. This is precisely when it becomes crucial to turn inward and focus on what you can do, on what you are good at, and on the simple yet profound act of self-nurturing. This is where your competencies become your anchors. What are your natural talents, your skills, your areas of expertise? In Jungian terms, these are expressions of your persona, the mask you present to the world, but also deeper manifestations of your self, the unique individual you are meant to become. Perhaps you excel at cooking, woodworking, writing, playing an instrument, problem-solving, or even simply being a good listener. Now is the time to lean into these abilities. Don't let them lie dormant. Actively engage with them. If you love to cook, explore new recipes, experiment with flavors, and savor the process of creation. The kitchen, in this sense, becomes your alchemical laboratory, a place where raw ingredients are transformed into something sustaining and delightful. If you enjoy writing, dedicate time to it, even if it's just journaling your thoughts. The act of putting words to paper can bring clarity and order to chaotic internal experiences. Jung believed that the process of individuation, becoming the unique whole self you are meant to be, involves integrating all aspects of your personality, including your strengths and weaknesses. By actively engaging with your competencies, you are affirming your inherent value and building a stronger sense of self-efficacy. This is a powerful antidote to the self-doubt that often accompanies loneliness. Let's specifically consider the act of cooking and nurturing. In our fast-paced world, many of us rely on convenience. When isolated, this is an opportunity to reclaim the ancient ritual of preparing your own food. It's a deeply grounding and nurturing act. Choose nourishing ingredients, follow recipes, and savor the aromas and flavors. This is not just about sustenance, it's about care. It's about saying to yourself, I am worth this effort. I will nourish myself well. And here's a beautiful twist. Make this a shared experience. As suggested earlier, set up a virtual dinner with a friend. Choose a recipe, cook it together in your separate kitchens, and then connect via video call to share the meal and compare your culinary creations. This blends the act of self-nurturing with conscious connection, weaving together multiple pillars of healing. Beyond specific skills, think about nurturing your entire being. Jung spoke of the importance of connecting with the inner child, the vulnerable, often neglected part of ourselves. What brings you joy? What allows you to rest and rejuvenate? This might be reading a beloved book, listening to music, taking a warm bath, or simply sitting in nature. These acts of gentle self-care are not luxuries, they are necessities for healing. They replenish your emotional reserves and remind you that you are worthy of tenderness. Finally, Jung warned against the dangers of being swept away by the collective unconscious in its negative, undifferentiated forms, particularly through mass hysteria or uncritical consumption of media. When you feel alone, the temptation to numb yourself with endless news cycles or superficial entertainment can be strong. Here, your competence lies in conscious discernment. Turn off the television. Limit your exposure to overwhelming or sensationalized information. While it's important to stay informed, constantly immersing yourself in negativity can further exacerbate feelings of anxiety and isolation. Instead, engage your mind with activities that require active participation, reading a challenging book, learning a new skill online, solving puzzles, or engaging in deep conversation. This strengthens your conscious ego, allowing you to process information critically and avoid becoming passively absorbed by external anxieties. The alchemical kitchen is where you take the raw ingredients of your solitude, your skills, your need for nourishment, and through conscious effort, transform them into a deeper sense of self-worth and resilience. You become the alchemist of your own soul, actively participating in your individuation and discovering the profound strength that lies within. Bringing it all together, the individuation journey in solitude. We've explored 4 pillars: structure, connection, movement and rhythm, and cultivating competence and nurturing the self. These aren't isolated practices. They are interwoven threads in the larger tapestry of healing and individuation, particularly when navigating the challenging landscape of profound loneliness. Jung's work constantly pointed towards the pursuit of wholeness, the integration of all aspects of the psyche, both conscious and unconscious. When you feel utterly alone, it can be a summons from the self, that deeper guiding center of your personality, urging you to turn inward, to confront what Jung called the shadow. The shadow contains not only our undesirable traits, but also unacknowledged potentials. Loneliness can bring these aspects to the surface, forcing us to contend with parts of ourselves we might typically avoid through constant external engagement. This period of solitude, while difficult, offers a unique opportunity for introspection. It's a chance to listen to the whispers of your soul, to understand your deeper motivations, fears, and aspirations. Journaling becomes an invaluable tool here. Write down your dreams, your fantasies, your raw emotions. Don't censor yourself. This is a direct line to your unconscious, offering insights into your inner landscape. Jung believed in the power of symbols. Pay attention to recurring images in your dreams, in your art, or even in nature around you. What might they be trying to tell you? Are there archetypal patterns emerging? Perhaps the wise old man, woman, the hero, the trickster, the anima, animus? These symbols are messages from your unconscious, guiding you towards greater self-understanding. The feeling of being alone can also evoke a sense of meaninglessness. This is a powerful trigger for existential inquiry. What gives your life meaning? What are your core values? How can you live in greater alignment with them, even in isolation? Jung felt that finding meaning was paramount to psychological health. In solitude, we have the space to confront these profound questions and begin to forge our own answers. Remember the concept of the puer puella aeternus, the eternal youth archetype, often associated with a reluctance to commit to life's challenges. When we are alone, it's easy to regress, to avoid responsibility for our own well-being. Actively engaging with these four pillars is an act of maturity, a commitment to your own growth, and a rejection of stagnation. This journey through loneliness is not about escaping it, but about transforming it. It's about finding the treasure hard to attain within the depths of your own being. It's about recognizing that even in profound isolation, you are never truly disconnected from the vastness of the collective unconscious, from the inherent wisdom of your own soul, and from the deep, abiding need for meaning and connection that defines the human experience. As you implement these practices, structuring your days, consciously connecting with others, moving your body, engaging in creative expression, and nurturing yourself, you are not just surviving, you are actively healing. You are undertaking your own hero's journey, venturing into the wilderness of solitude, and returning with newfound strength, insight, and a deeper, more integrated sense of self. The path of individuation is a lifelong one, but moments of intense solitude can serve as powerful accelerators. Embrace this time not as a curse, but as a chrysalis, a period of transformation where you shed old patterns and emerge with wings strong enough to carry you into a future defined by greater authenticity and profound connection, both with yourself and with the world.